Hello and welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box just below this video. We've had a few new subscribers since I last recorded one of these videos, so a very big welcome to you if you are new, and of course a very big hello to anyone who has been here once or many times before. I always appreciate you being part of the Yarn and Yarns community and spending a little bit of time listening to me waffling on about my adventures in knitting and spinning and crochet. I have all of those segments for you this week. I also have a little bit of admin, chatting about our knit-alongs, and I also have a prize draw to do, but I'll leave all that stuff to the end. I think we'll get started with all of the finished objects and works in progress, since I've got quite a few to share with you. It's been a couple of weeks since I've sat down and chatted to you just about my works in progress and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going through some of the things that I have been working on these last couple of weeks. I've got a little bit of crochet, a little bit of spinning, and then a fair bit of knitting to share with you. So I think I will start with knitting. I've got quite a few finished objects to show you. It's been a couple of weeks, as I say, since I've recorded one of these videos. So I managed to knock a few things off of my October to-do list, and I've started on my November to-do list as well. So I've got several finished objects and a couple of works in progress to show you in this section. The first finished object that I have to show you, I think I was working on this last time, or maybe the video before. I finished a wall hanging that I was knitting. It's going to be a little bit tricky to show you as I'm sitting here in this space, so I'll pop a little video of what the finished object looks like just in here. So yeah, you might remember, I've got the wall hanging here with me, but as I say, it's a bit sort of tricky to show the full thing. I was making this as a sample for the shop, and that's what it's going to be. Now I've shown you, I can take it into the shop and hang it up. And it's a pattern from Jem Weston's Cozy Alpaca book, and it's knit in 3 different colours of Rowan hand knit cotton. I chose different colours than the pattern in the book. The book was 3 different blues. I had these 2 purples and this sort of beigey colour, so I thought I'd put those together. This purple is called Turkish Plum. This is called Taupe. It's sadly a discontinued colour because it's a really nice one, and I'm afraid I can't remember offhand what that middle colour is, but there will be a project page over on my Ravelry, which you'll find linked below if you are interested. So it's such a fun knit, and I used less than a ball each of the colours. I've got quite a bit left. Fun bit of fringing on the bottom, and then I threaded mine onto a piece of driftwood, and I found this when I went to Ogmore. If you've been watching for a while, back in the summer after we had a little holiday up to Yorkshire, I took the car, we had a hire car, and I took the car to Ogmore Beach and we did a little bit of filming there, and I picked up this piece of driftwood from Ogmore, and I thought it was the perfect thing to use for this hanging. I really enjoyed making this pattern. Such a fun little knit, and overall it was a pretty quick knit. As is my wont, I work on more than one thing, so overall it probably took me a couple of weeks, but sort of knitting time, just a couple of evenings really. And I am tempted to make another one. I think it will be a really good one for either some hand spun, but it's a great one for using up leftovers. There's lots of really nice textures. You could definitely put in more than the 3 colours. So yeah, I think this would be a good scrap busting project as well. I'm tempted to make one that might hang on my wall back here. So maybe something that's more orangey or autumnal tones. So yeah, that's the first finished object. My second project of the needles is a big one. I haven't blocked this yet, so it's going to be completely impossible to sort of show you, but I finally finished that never-ending Canady shawl. The Canady shawl is a pattern by Bristol Ivy from her Knitting Outside the Box book, which was published by Pom Pom Press. and I was making mine from various colours of Rowan felted tweed. In the pattern book it's made in just one colour. But I decided to start the project as a way of using up some of my felted tweed stash. It's a modular design, so it was fairly easy to knit different sections in different colours. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed with is the biggest section at the top of the shawl was really hard to break down into any smaller sections. So I've got one, I chose this ginger colourway as the big section at the top, and it would have been really nice if I could have broken this down into more colours, but it just wasn't possible. I would have had to have been trying to do some intarsia where the yarn overs were, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. So I've got quite a big swathe of orange at the top, but then I've got all of the other colours sort of coming into play along the bottom. This needs a really good block. It's a bit of a strange shape at the moment. It's meant to be a rectangle. My stitch counts were okay for all of the sections. So as far as I know, I didn't do anything wrong, although there were a couple of errors in the pattern that made it a little bit difficult to fathom out in places. This was a lot of knitting, especially the final section, so I'm hoping that I can rescue it in the blocking, but at the moment it's a bit sort of wiggly giggly and I'm unsure about it, but we'll see. Last time I showed you, I was here where this marker is, so I knit up this rest of this orange section, which travels all the way across the top of the wrap. So as you can see, big long rows. So although it's only a couple of inches of knitting, it took a long time. And then after I finished the orange section, I had to put in the final corner, which was the yellow, and then I had to bind off in the blue. Oh, this bind off was a interesting one. I had to pick up 855 stitches, knit a few rounds and then bind off with a stretchy bind off, so the bind off took forever. I haven't woven in any of the ends or anything yet. You can get a good sort of sense of the different colours that I've used from the side of the shawl here. So yeah, I'm hoping to soak this. I have no idea where I'm going to block it because it's giant. So yeah, I need to figure that out at some point and see if I can block this into some sort of usable shape. If not, there's a good chance this project might be frogged after all of that effort, because it would be a real shame to not use this. It's very much a shawl blanket, so I don't know, I think it might be too big to actually wear as a shawl or a wrap. So if I can block it into submission, it might just live in our living room or maybe up here in the craft room as a cover up or a blanket when I get cold. So yeah, I'm classing this as finished, but it's not quite finished. Needs a good blocking and the ends woven in. And then lastly, I have socks to show you. Quite a few. So if you followed along for a while, you know that I was knitting a sock tube from a sock blank that I had in my stash. It was a beautiful sock blank from Gail's Art that I won in a podcast giveaway. Been hoarding it in my stash for ages. Beautiful colours stamped with leaves. So I finally decided to bite the bullet and turn it into socks. Inspired by Lou Lee. Lee has a podcast entitled The Lou Lee Podcast. She also has a lovely web shop where she sells her project bags and notions cases. And on her podcast, she's hosting a Knit 1000 grams knit along, where basically you're trying to work through 1000 grams in your stash before March next year. And Lee has knitted a few sock tubes in the past, and I was inspired to give it a go. So basically I cast on the sock blank, knitted a big long tube until I ran out of yarn, and then I went back in and added contrast heels, toes and cuffs. So the contrast colours that I had were some beautiful mini skeins from Caroline, who is Colourful Creativity, and from my sock blank I managed to get one pair of my normal recipe socks. I cast on 64 stitches, and I generally really tend to do about 15 or so rounds for the cuff, 50 rounds on the leg, 70-ish rounds on the foot, and then put in a wedge toe. And for these I put in Fish Lips Kiss Heel, so I've got a pair of those. I also wanted to make myself a pair of wrist warmers, so I cut just little tubes off of that and added some ribbing. I actually made quite a big boob with this. I cut one of my pieces a lot shorter. I don't know if you can see that. There's a good sort of 3 or 4 rows shorter on the second wrist warmer than the first. Obviously I wasn't paying too much attention when I snipped into my sock blank, but I added a couple more rounds of ribbing on one of the wrist warmers, and I figure that actually once it's on my wrist you're not really going to see that sort of size difference. So when they're on, you can't really tell. It's a bit scrunched up under my jumper, but yeah, I'm not worried about that at all. They're just for me, and I love wearing sort of these wrist cozies in the autumn and winter. They really keep my hands warm. So yeah, wrist warmers, pair of sort of full length socks, and then I also managed to get a pair of ankle socks as well. So I took what was left of my tube after making the big socks and the wrist warmers and popped in toes, and then I counted back for my sort of foot length, popped in my fish lips kiss heels, and then that left me with a couple of inches, which is perfect for an ankle sock. So at the other ends of these I just literally picked up the stitches, knit a couple of rows and cast off. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty pleased with all of the lovely things that I managed to get from my sock blank. I popped a picture of all of the socks and the wrist warmers laid out together on my Instagram today, so if you're curious to see them all laid out, then you can hop over there and see them there. I really enjoyed that process. The cutting of the tube was fiddly in places, but not really, only because some of the sort of colour stripes were a little bit dark, so I had to wait, because we're now into dark evenings, I had to wait till daylight to sort of thread my needles in and be able to snip the socks. But that was really the only sort of slightly tricky thing. And of course, because I wasn't being super careful, I did manage to make that mistake where I made one of my wrist warmers too short, but that's user error. Nothing to do with the difficulty of the process. And then finally, I have another pair of socks which haven't made it to any of these videos before. They featured a couple of times in my Vlogtober videos, but they were not a work in progress when I last recorded. But I have another pair of socks that I finished. So these socks were from a lovely sock set from Caroline, who is Colourful Creativity. Caroline stayed with me for a weekend while we were attending the Knit Tea retreat a few weeks ago. So I snagged one of her sock sets and I cast this on the Friday social evening at the retreat, and I'd finished one sock by the end of Sunday, the end of the retreat, and then I knit the second sock over the sort of few days after that. So this colourway doesn't have a name. It was a one-of-a-kind colourway, although Caroline has since said that she may bring this to her shop as a permanent colourway, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I really hope that she does. There's oranges and there's purples, there's sort of mustardy tones, there's a few splodges of like pinks, there's even a couple of sort of bits of green here and there where the colours have mixed together. It's just a beautiful speckled colourway and I love it. So yeah, again, these were knit to my usual recipe, 64 stitches on a 2.25mm needle, and I used the contrast mini skein that came in the sock set to add the heels, toes and cuffs. And I've got a tiny little bit of each left, and I think they'll probably go into my blanket, my crochet blanket at some point. But yeah, now I'm looking forward to wearing these now I've shown you them. That's everything for the finished object. I've got two works in progress, kind of. One is just a swatch, but I wanted to tell you about a project that I'm going to be starting soon. I had the real pleasure of meeting the lovely Sylvia, who is with Cherries on Top too, over on Instagram. She came along to the Saturday of the Knit Tea retreat and the Friday night social. And she popped up on Instagram a little while ago that she's releasing her first self-published pattern, and today she's actually released that the name of the sweater is going to be the Caledonian, and it's a beautiful sweater which has some double moss stitch and also some cable around the bottom, and I have volunteered to test knit that for her. I have chosen this yarn from Rowan, which is their Moordale yarn, which is a mix of wool and alpaca. 100% British yarn, so it's 70% wool, 30% alpaca, and I've done a little swatch to get myself going. The pattern will hopefully be coming to us in the next sort of week or so we can really get started, but I've cast on for a swatch. So far my swatch is working up a little bit smaller than the intended gauge for the garment, but it may be that once I get this off the needles and sort of soaked and blocked, that it might come out to the measurements. I tend to be a looser knitter, so I think that probably might be the case, and obviously with the alpaca content as well, the alpaca can be a bit stretchy and drapey, but before I actually take it off the needles and soak the swatch, I think I'm actually going to change to a 4.5mm needle and do another swatch on top of this, just in case I'm coming up a little bit small. Yeah, it's a really lovely texture, the double moss stitch. It can be a bit of a pain to knit, but I love the overall effect of it, and this colour is gorgeous, isn't it? So I'm really looking forward to starting that test knit. That does mean that once the test knit pattern drops, I might be becoming ever so slightly a monogamous knitter because I want to get that done. The test knit deadline is the middle of January, and so for my size it's going to be a little bit of a tight deadline. I think it should be doable, but it will mean that I won't be able to flip between as many projects as I usually do. The final work in progress that I wanted to show you is one that's on my November to-do list. So you might recall that in October I started a slightly new way of working, and I'm setting myself a goals list for the month. I've been quite ambitious with my goals list this month, particularly as I know I'm going to be going full steam ahead on that test knit when the pattern arrives. But I figure best to be ambitious and not achieve things as long as I don't put any pressure on myself. So I've got quite a few things that are near-ish completion on that list. So I'm hoping to power my way through a couple in the next week or so before that test knit pattern arrives. And the first one that I want to finish is my Mount Pleasant tee, and this is a knit along that I am hosting over in the Ravelry group. I'll talk a little bit more about the details of the knit along at the end. But for now I want to show you that I've actually done the bind off for the shoulders on my Mount Pleasant tee, so I'm almost there. This marker here, this rainbow marker, oops, wrong way around, there we go, shows you where I was when we last shared this project. So I was about an inch or so away from completing the in the round part of the body, and then I split for working front and back for the armholes. So I have now finished that portion. So all I've got left now is to pick up around the armholes, knit a bit of ribbing and cast off, and also do the same for the neck. Before I do that though, I'm actually going to block this because I followed to pattern and it's actually coming up maybe an inch or so shorter than I would like. But this is a superwash yarn. This is Curio Yarns on her sock base, which is, does the sock base have a name? Let me grab one of the labels. It's just merino nylon, so 75% merino, 25% nylon. This is the Druid colourway, and this is her yarn label, Curio Yarns. I've got tons of yarn left. I've still got 100 grams at least left of this, so I'm not worried about extending this if I need to, but if I do need to, I'm basically going to have to rip back all of this and add in an extra bit to the body here. So I'm hoping to avoid that if I can. Superwash tends to stretch a little bit, so I'm hoping that by blocking this it would give me the extra sort of ½ inch or an inch that I would be comfortable with, and then I can just get cracking and finish this off. So yeah, I'm going to, now I've shown you this, I'm going to pop it in the sink and give it a soak and leave it to dry, and hopefully sort of pull it down a bit and give myself a little bit extra. If I have a chance, I might just pop this on and show you where it comes to now and where I hope that it will be. Okay, so here is what my Mount Pleasant is looking like so far. I think it looks pretty good. Hopefully these shoulders will get pulled in a little bit when I put on the neckline, and I'm going to have a little bit of ribbing just to lengthen the sleeve slightly. I do quite like the length, but when I turn to the side it would be nice if it was just maybe an inch or so longer, I would feel a little bit more comfortable. Comfortable's not the right word, but I think it would just sit better. My natural waist is sort of down here a little bit, so there's a good couple of inches between where the Mount Pleasant comes and where my natural waist falls, so I think I will get that extra length when I block it out. I'm not really that worried, but I just want to do the blocking out. That's going to open up this pretty little lace section at the bottom a bit too, but I'm really pleased with the fit otherwise. I've got a good bit of positive ease, and I think this is going to be a really cute crop top to wear, perhaps like this with a long sleeve t-shirt. I like to layer a lot, but I've got a couple of tunic type dresses that I wear as well. So I think it's going to be a really wearable piece, and yeah, I'm just really pleased with how this has come out. And the colours in this Druid yarn from Ellie of Curio Yarns are just beautiful, all these lovely brown tones. So yeah, I'm really close to finishing, but I think I just want to give it a block just to see how we go before I do the finishing touches. What do you think? On to spinning. My spinning mojo has been somewhat lacking the last couple of weeks. My spinning wheel sort of got tucked away while Caroline and Robert were staying, and it didn't really come back out again until a couple of days ago. But since the last time I recorded, I did manage to finish the next lot of the fondant fibre fuzzlings that I've been spinning up. These were fuzzlings that I purchased on D-Stash, unsure of the fibre content. There's definitely some stellina in there. Don't know if you can see the sparkle or not on the camera. And you might remember I was having a little bit of frustration with the first lot of this that I did, and I'd over twisted it in quite a few places. This second batch has turned out much better, so I am spinning this and then doing a traditional 3-ply, and I'm trying to do 50-gram bumps, and my idea was to gift this in a few packages that I'll be sending off throughout November and December. I'm much happier with the second lot of yarn. The reason being is that I tried not to be quite so precious about it. So the first lot I was trying to spin super smooth and lovely, and really consistent, because I was conscious that I wanted to give these as gifts, and I wanted to try and make it as perfect as possible, whatever that means. But then I sort of had a bit of a word with myself. One of the joyful things about handspun is it's not perfect, and my handspun will probably never be perfect. There's no point in trying to manipulate fibre into something that it really doesn't want to be. So I just spun the fibre as it wanted to be, left in some of the inconsistencies, which meant that I wasn't sort of busy over twisting things as I tried to straighten things out, and I just let this be what it wanted to be. So I'm much happier with this second lot, and I'm almost finished the third lot of 50 grams of this on my wheel now. I've got maybe 5 or so grams of fibre to spin, and then I can ply them together. So I'm hoping to finish that and get through the last 50-gram bump before the end of next week, if possible. So hopefully next video will be the last time you see this fibre, and then we can move on to something new. Also, I have a new project on my drop spindle. If you watch my Vlogtober Day 30, I did a little quick I hesitate to call it a tutorial. I did a quick little section on how I spin, basically, and I started to spin one of these lovely gorgeous rainbow rolags, and I've spun through the rest of that rolag since I made that video. I've got the rest of the pack downstairs waiting to be spun through, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to carrying on with this project now that I've got it going. It's been a little while since I've done any drop spindling, so I'm back to really enjoying this again. So watch this space. This fibre will also be on soon. And the final section for today is crochet. Since putting away my Babette blanket earlier on in the month, I haven't really done any crochet at all, but I sat down yesterday and decided I would actually start a new project. So I'm trying to finish as many projects as I can. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. We've got a visitor. Hello. So yeah, I'm trying to finish as many projects as I can before the test knit drops, but I'm very conscious that I haven't done any crochet for a while, and I was kind of craving a bit of crochet. So a few weeks ago I picked out a few colours for a crochet along that's being hosted by Anna Nikopirowicz, and she's designed this lovely cushion pattern using 3 colours of double knit yarn. I think she might have used West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab for hers, but I picked out 3 colours of Rowan felted tweed, and this one is avocado, this one is turquoise, and this one is called tawny. So these are my 3 colours, and I finally got round to starting yesterday. So I'm starting out on clue 1. Clue 3 has just been released, so I'm very behind. With 3 squares to be made per clue, so you end up with 9 squares to join into the front of your cushion. And I've made my first square. It's a really fun colour work pattern. It took me a minute to try and get into it. It's been a while since I've done any colour work in crochet. So yeah, once I got into the swing of it, it was fine, and it got much harder when we got up to these bits where we were working with the 3 colours, but the middle section in the end was fairly quick, and I think now that I've got one under my belt, the others will come much quickly. Now I'm in the habit of how I'm carrying the yarns and things at the back, so the back of the square is pretty scruffy and I've got a little bit of a sort of kink in the middle where probably my colour work tension wasn't the best to start with, but I think I can block this into submission. It's pretty flat, it's not horrendous, but there's definitely a little bit of a kink sort of in the middle there, look. So yeah, I've got to do 2 more versions of this square, sort of changing up the colour order, and then try and crack on with the other 2 clues. So clue 2 is a lovely square which has lots of sort of bobbles, popcorn stitches, and then clue 3 is kind of like a cable type pattern. But yes, now I'm into the project. I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses, and now I've got the hang of this first square, I think I can do the next 2 hopefully over the next week or so. But yeah, I'm enjoying working with these 3 lovely colours. I'm actually keeping that project in my grey wool tweed project bag. This is a lovely bird brooch that was felted by a local felt artist, Sarah Fisher, and I've also got my oyster catcher pin on that bag too. Okay, so that's everything for all of the works in progress, the things that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. Time to chat about our cows and bits and pieces like that. So the first thing that I want to say, as always, is a big thank you to my coffee donators. I have a donations link at the bottom of this video. If you enjoy the content and would like to support the channel, then you can make a small donation over there if you would like. I'm very grateful to have received £12 since I last chatted about my donations. I said that I would be completely transparent about the money that I'd received and what it was being spent on. At the moment, I don't need any extra equipment, so my coffee donators have helped me fund a tripod, which I'm using right now, also a microphone and a studio light. They've also helped me fund a prize which will be given away in our 100th vlog, which I had a quick check before I started recording, and it should coincide with the very end of this year or the start of next year if I manage to record each week from here until December, so we shall see. I was going to show off the contents of that prize this week, but the video is already running fairly long because it's been a couple of weeks since I've recorded, so I might save that for next week. But I'm going to give you a quick flash. I had a beautiful project bag donated by Emma of Eldenwood Craft when I saw her at the Knit Tea retreat. So this is the bag that she has donated, and inside this bag are lots of goodies from other lovely donators. So I'll definitely chat about that in more detail next week. We have 2 cows running over in the Ravelry group, and you'll find a link to the Ravelry group just below this video. Again, I've fallen behind with the Ravelry group. I do apologise. For some reason, the Ravelry is the last sort of social media platform that I catch up on. I don't know why, I just have a bit of a block on it. But I will pop over there and catch up on what's happening there. But we have our Mount Pleasant along. Myself and Ellie of Curio Yarns are hosting a knit along. You don't have to knit the Mount Pleasant tee. You can knit any t-shirt, sweater, short sleeved, fingering weight pattern, and that cowl runs until the 1st of December. So if you are joining in, then please make sure that you have your finished objects over in the threads by the 1st of December. The Mount Pleasant is a really quick knit, so you've still got time to join in if you want to. I'm knitting the second to largest size, and it's barely taken any time at all. The other knit along that I'm hosting is our whip along. The projects that were started before the 1st of September are welcome in that cowl, and we're trying to knit through as many of our whips as possible before the end of the year, so the 31st of December. So I do hope that you come along and join the knit along fun. On my last day of Vlogtober, I popped up a bit of an impromptu giveaway as a thank you for people that followed me through Vlogtober. I received a lot of lovely kind comments throughout October on those videos, and it was a real joy for me to put those together. So I decided to offer up a pattern giveaway, and to be eligible you just had to leave a comment on that video. So the prompt on the vlog was to leave a comment to let me know if I continue to vlog in any sort of format, whether that be the occasional vlog or through Vlogmas in December. What sort of content would you like to see? Winner was Jane Scarisbrick. Hopefully I pronounced your surname right, Jane. Jane left a lovely comment to say that she hopes that if I manage to get to London, that I am able to put up a couple of London vlogs, and with any luck I should be booking my train ticket to London today. We're going next week, so I will certainly aim to do that. But Jane, if you get in touch with me and let me know the name and designer of a pattern that you would like me to gift you on Ravelry, then I will be more than happy to do that. You can contact me just by leaving a comment below with your Ravelry username, or you can contact me over on Ravelry or through Instagram, however you like, even by email if you want. You can email me at yarnandyarns@yahoo.com. So congratulations, and thank you to everyone who left comments on my Vlogtober videos and any of my videos in the past. One of the things I love about recording these is all of the lovely interactions that we have, and I do try to reply to all comments. I'm almost caught up on the Vlogtober videos, although I have noticed as I've been popping in and replying to some of those comments that I haven't had YouTube notifications for everything. So if throughout Vlogtober at all you've left a comment and I haven't replied, I'm ever so sorry. I kind of rely on YouTube alerting me, and it seems that they haven't been alerting me for everything. So I'm going to try and find some time to go back through those videos and make sure that I have caught everyone's replies. But if you've asked a question that you haven't had an answer to, then by all means just jog my memory, get your big pointy knitting needles out and give me a poke, and please be assured that I have not been ignoring you on purpose. In case anyone is curious, I have decided going forward, I think, that I will be putting up some vlogs, but that I won't be doing a formal video a day Vlogmas. Anecdotally, I've heard a few podcasters will be hopefully putting together Vlogmas videos. So yeah, I think I will bow out of Vlogmas this year, but I am planning on putting up a few vlogs between my main videos. So I thought for people who have been following, sorry if you can hear a bunch of noise in the background, Newt's climbing through my fibre stash. I wonder if I twist around, can you see her? There she is. Awkwardly trying to reposition the tripod there. Vlogs, yes. So I won't be doing Vlogmas. I won't be doing Vlogmas, but I am planning on putting up a few vlogs here and there. So if anything happens in my life that I think might be of interest to you guys, obviously I'm hopefully going to London next week, so I'll do that. I thought I might do a few vlogs here and there, updating you on my journaling, because a few people were interested in that through Vlogtober. I've almost finished my October pages, so I figured it would be nice just to maybe put up a quick vlog to update you on what those finished pages look like. Maybe a few more spinning vlogs, because a few people said they enjoy the spinning content and seeing how I spin, so I've got a few ideas for things, and I've also got a list of topics for things that people asked for that I didn't get around to doing in Vlogtober. I will be back with the bonus sort of shorter vlogs, but just they won't be every day in December. Okay, so we've got another wandering newtie, so I think it's probably time to wrap up the video. I hope that you get to do some of the things that you enjoy this week, and until next time, great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.